Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And folks, we got a show here that absolutely floored me yesterday. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, as you guys know, we have defended Max Kellerman on this channel a lot. All right, going all the way back to when he was let go from ESPN in 2023, I believe it was. Defending him and then going at Stephen A. Smith for all the stuff that he said and all that. We've been huge supporters of Max Kellerman over the years. But yesterday I heard something that absolutely floored me, and it floored a lot of people. So I saw a post here from Yahoo Sports that we want to share with you guys. We want to put it up now, and it says the following. Clutch Sports founder Rich Paul and former ESPN host Max Kellerman are teaming up to do a podcast together for The Ringer, Bill Simmons announced. Simmons didn't reveal the name of the new show, but shared it will be a video podcast running 3 times a week. And you can see the thumbnail there. And I said to myself when I first heard this, I'm like, what? Rich Paul and Max Kellerman? I was trying to think of it was just such an unusual connection. And I'm like, Rich Paul is a sports agent, he's a businessman. Max Kellerman is a sports commentator. So how did they end up in the it just and I can't think of any other podcast that has that combination of people, right? So I then began to kind of hunt down the information to get more information about it. And I came across an article here from Awful Announcing with the following headline. Bill Simmons shares story behind Max Kellerman and Rich Paul podcast coming together. I became convinced these guys, I get it. These guys should have a show. So let me continue on what the article says. It says, the start of the latest episode of the Bill Simmons podcast, the show's host confirmed that a new podcast featuring Max Kellerman and Rich Paul is coming to The Ringer. If that premise sounds surprising to you, you're not alone, as even Simmons admitted to being surprised when Max Kellerman first pitched him on it. According to the Ringer founder, he had been hoping to work with the former First Take co-host ever since he was laid off by ESPN in 2023. And when he finally became available in recent months, Kellerman informed Simmons he was already in talks to host a show alongside Paul, who happened to be the most powerful agent in all of sports. He was like, well, I'm a little bit down the road with this other idea, Simmons recalled. And it was this show that he would have been thinking about with. As it turned out, it was Rich Paul. They've been friends for a while. They've always wanted to do something like back and forth, the kind of Ringer type show that we would do, like a conversation show, chemistry show. Then continues on. Simmons proceeded to meet with Kellerman and Paul, unsure of how the latter would receive him. But following their conversation, the ex-ESPN columnist was sold that such a podcast, which he says will focus on sports and culture, could be a hit. I didn't really know Rich that well, and I think he didn't think I liked him. I didn't think he liked me. And he got hashed out, and that got hashed out in 10 minutes, Simmons said. And more importantly, just watching the way they interacted, I became convinced these guys, I get it. These guys should have a show. And then the article then goes on to say some other things there. What are my thoughts about this? I won't lie to you. When I heard this news, one of the things that came to my mind was Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. As you guys know, everybody knows, Stephen A. Smith don't like LeBron. And LeBron don't like Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith about 3 weeks ago went on a quick media tour where he went on the Pivot podcast, Carmelo Anthony's podcast. I don't know if he went somewhere else, but I know he went to those 2 podcasts where he was talking about LeBron, and his comments went viral to the point where even people were like, yo, Carmelo, man, why you ain't defend LeBron James against Stephen A. Smith, man? Ain't LeBron supposed to be your man? Like, come on, man. What's going on? Like, people got pissed off at Melo for that. But we know that Stephen A. Smith and LeBron, they're not cool. They're not buddy-buddy whatsoever. And then we got the Max Kellerman aspect of all of this. Why am I saying that? Well, we know that Stephen A. Smith threw Max Kellerman under the bus. We know that Stephen A. Smith did not want to work with Max Kellerman. He made that clear, painfully clear on numerous occasions. We know that. We then also know that Stephen A. Smith has a beef with LeBron. So now you have a situation where Max Kellerman is going to go team up with Stephen A. Smith's enemies. Maybe not Rich Paul as an enemy of Stephen A. Smith. I'm sure they're cool. I think he's mentioned that. I think he's also cool with Maverick. But Rich Paul's loyalties lie with LeBron James, as they should, by the way. But his loyalties lie with LeBron. So now you have the former co-host who was done dirty by Stephen A. Smith in the media. Like he was just shoveling doodle on that dude's name, bro. Throwing all kind of smut all over his name for no apparent reason. And now you have Max Kellerman going to go team up with Rich Paul, who's a LeBron guy. Now, I do want to say this. At a certain point, these guys, I'm sure, are going to talk basketball. Rich Paul is a LeBron James zealot. But I do know from listening to Max Kellerman on ESPN over the years, he's a Jordan guy. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they ever decide to have this GOAT debate, how that will go between Rich Paul and Max Kellerman. Because remember, Stephen A. Smith has said that he has had personal conversations with Rich Paul where Rich Paul told him it is disrespectful to have LeBron James ranked as the second greatest player of all time. He finds that to be offensive. So I'm only wondering if they were going to do a show together and the cameras are on and they bring up this GOAT debate and Max Kellerman is over here making points for LeBron being better. For Jordan being better than LeBron. And you know, Max Kellerman, he can talk and he can articulate himself and he can make some cogent points and he's very logical. I wonder how that will kind of play off on camera, or maybe they're just going to avoid that topic altogether. But to me, man, there's some of that going on there because he going over there to the other side, right? Now, obviously, Max doesn't owe Stephen A. Smith anything. Stephen A. Smith doesn't owe Max Kellerman anything. But trust me, knowing Stephen A. Smith the way we do, I think Stephen A. Smith would have saw this move and be like, oh, really now? You're going to go over there with them. And then not only is he going over there with them, he's doing a show with the guy. A show with him. Now, I don't think they're going to bring up a topic of Stephen A. I don't see Max Kellerman ever talking about Stephen A. Smith on camera again. I don't see, unless Rich Paul brings it up and says, hey, man, Max, so what was the situation like with you at ESPN and how did it end? And then maybe something like that comes up and then that can now, open up some old wounds and then get the thing popping again. But I was a bit surprised. But maybe there's an angle to it. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about this new partnership? Do you think it's going to work? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show and I'm out. Peace.